Hello, friends, and welcome to Somewhat Useful. I'm Will Myers,
And I'm Christy Price.
and on this show, we'll be discussing the topics shaping the world of digital entrepreneurship and tackling questions about Squarespace and web design. And today, AI. We're figuring this world out one website at a time and hope you find this somewhat useful.
Somewhat useful.
This is our last episode of season 5, Christy. Season 5.
I know. This has been really fun.
I know. I've been enjoying the YouTube lives of it all. Christine Neal has popped up in our chat. Hello, Christine.
Hi, Christine. Thanks for being here.
I know. I've really enjoyed the YouTube lives for two reasons. One, we can just sort of jump in. We don't like whatever we do, we're gonna have to live with. Yeah, sort of keep on your feet a little bit. But two,
it's a little more unfiltered.
Yeah, the YouTube lives are more unfiltered. The recordings, the podcast recordings, Ricky does a good job.
Ricky makes us sound so smart. Thank you, Ricky.
Thank you, Ricky. But we also get to interact with our friends like Christine. It's good to see you.
Yeah.
Let's jump into our hot topic of the day, Circle Day.
Circle Day
coming up.
Yeah, so we're recording this at the very end of July, and before you know it, Circle Day will be here, which is this year, mid-September. And Will, you're already in New York, but I'll be coming to New York for Circle Day. And I know that you are listed on the website now.
Yes, I am one of the online MCs. I'm not
That's
sure.
That's going to be fun.
For the morning session. So if you're going to be watching online, I'm pretty sure I'll be MCing in between the segments. And what does an MC mean, Will? That's a great question. We're gonna figure this out and run with it as we go. But I think it's gonna be a good time. And you're moderating a panel, right?
I am. I'm moderating a panel with Christy Neal, Aaron Soto, and Risha Chesterfield, all about purposeful profit and how we can help our clients grow their businesses. So what does it mean to build a website for a client? It's a lot more than just making a pretty website. So I get to talk with these experts about how they have helped clients grow their businesses and make their lives easier too.
I think that's going to be excellent. Really looking forward to that one. That's a great cast of characters too.
I know. It's going to be really fun.
And it does seem, I'm really interested in the format of Circle Day this year. It seems like they've sort of switched it up. There aren't as many things on the main stage, it looks like.
That's right.
Y'all are one of the few that are going to be up there.
We were talking to them and they're like, "You're our favorite panel." And I'm like, "I think we're the only panel."
Well, still take it. Take it while you can. Circle Day, September 17th. Register online if you have not. Really excited for this. It's really fun to just get together, whether you're in person or online, just to sort of get the whole Squarespace community interacting together. It's really fun.
Yeah, and I know that day is super overwhelming. So if you see Will or me there, please come up, say hello, introduce yourselves, and we would love to say hi.
Please come introduce yourselves. I would love to say hi to you. Squarespace has been releasing some things. Shall we jump in?
Yeah, let's do it.
What have we got for us?
So the first one is there are new filters inside commerce. So if you are selling things on Squarespace, both you and your clients can use filters to view recurring and one-time purchases, which is nice. You can kind of sort these things out. So it's like, what have I bought recurring? I need to know. Yeah.
Any more like advanced filters Squarespace can add to the e-commerce stuff, I am here for. One thing, feature request, churn. If you have a membership, you can't see churn or like new members over a time period.
Yeah.
Really, I would love to have that information on the membership side, but glad to see them investing more into this.
Yeah.
Next up is the newsletter block field updates. You can toggle off the last name. The first name and last name fields are now optional. So
it's not quite what we were hoping for. We were hoping for just like the first name field to appear and the last name field to not be in existence, like other email marketing systems. But I think this is a step in the right direction. So we're getting there.
A step in the right direction. Yeah. So close, Squarespace. Let's keep moving. Love you. Love you. The Circle Forum. So sign in and out of the Circle Forum. They have done a big UI overhaul. If you're a Circle member, you're probably a Circle member if you're listening to this, or you're my mother. You're one of the two. You're a Circle member, or you're my mother,
or my husband. Yeah. Dave, you don't need to worry about this.
Sign in and out to get access, and it's really cool. They've done a big UI overhaul, and it looks really nice. I feel like it's a lot easier to navigate and bounce around and see the important bits.
And speaking of overhauls for Circle members, if you are a Circle member, you now have a Circle dashboard. So when you log into Squarespace, it was like, see your dashboard of websites, see your domains. Now there's a new little tab for Circle members, and you can view your points. So you can kind of see your status in Circle. You can see the benefits of joining Circle, or what benefits you have because you're already in Circle, new releases, and I feel like there's probably an integration coming with Impact. So if you have
affiliate software,
referral payouts, you might be able to see that at some point in the future. I hope it looks like there's an area for it. So definitely check that out if you're a Circle member.
Fun stuff. And they have been adding so the SEO, and I think the word we're all landing on is AIO, artificial intelligence optimization. So there's like search engine optimization, or AIO.
I was hoping we'd go with GEO, generative engine optimization.
GEO. That would be SEO and GEO.
I like that better because like AIO is like old MacDonald had a farm.
AIO. That's a good one. I was about to say AIO sort of rolls off the tongue pretty good, but it is a little old MacDonald. Yeah. That's really funny.
Oh, well, I'll learn to live with it.
But they have a new panel there that gives you some recommendations for changing some things.
And I can't remember if we talked about this before. There were a few things we talked about earlier because we saw glimpses of this. So there's an area now where you can ask Squarespace AI to generate meta descriptions, SEO meta descriptions, and alt text for your images. And it gives you a completion score. So it's like, have you done this? How many percentages of this have you done? But you could write like peanut butter sandwich for everything, and it would still give you 100%, which is a little weird. But I feel like perhaps there's more information coming.
Hopefully more coming. It's a nice little tool. Right now, I mean, SEO space. If you're really focused on SEO in Squarespace, you should check out Henry's extension, SEO space. It's really good.
It's a good one. I did a video on that recently too.
Okay, nice.
It's really fun. But speaking of the Squarespace SEO panel, you had a request for Squarespace earlier, turn for memberships. I have a request for Squarespace. We'll just put this out there. With the advent of this reworked panel, they have now hidden the one thing that I always look for on the SEO panel, which is writing my site-wide meta description and title for my website. So it's like buried in there now. It's hard to find. And not everybody's going to want to use the AI tools to write all of their meta descriptions. So if you're not using that, you have to kind of like dig down to find this, like
hard to find,
the most important SEO information on your website. So I'm hoping that they'll make that a little more obvious, bring it back to the top of the panel instead of progressive disclosure to get to it.
Hiding it deeper and deeper. Nesting it deeper. Yeah, that site-wide thing is probably the most important thing you can do. I'm no SEO expert, but that feels like the right thing to do.
Yeah, I think so. So let's hope that gets some love soon. But today
we're going to be talking about AI. We're going to be jumping into AI. This is a topic I think we've talked a lot about. I'm sure a lot of people are exhausted about, but it's one of those things that is definitely not going away. And we're already seeing it reshape this industry that we all either really love or make our livings in, or some combination of the two. So I think it deserves sort of the time to dive into it and understand what's going on. And we're not going to pretend like we know exactly what's going on, but we're going to tell you what we think is happening and how we see it affecting our businesses. But before that, let's say hi to Jai. Hey, Jai, it's good to see you.
So glad you're here.
Good to see you. And then let's do our little sponsor.
Yes, and I'll lean this way so you can see the Square Kicker logo.
Okay, Square Kicker. Yes.
Thanks so much to our sponsor, Square Kicker, for the season of Somewhat Useful. Want to deliver exceptional Squarespace websites faster? Explore the Square Kicker template store, premium designs built for designers like you. Each template serves as a customizable foundation, reducing design time while maintaining the unique touch your clients expect. Visit squarekicker.com to learn about scaling your business with templates and get 15% off all Square Kicker products with code SOMEWHAT15 today. Created by expert Squarespace designers from around the world, these templates install with just a few clicks and are fully customizable for each client's unique needs. Each template features stunning Square Kicker animations, which you can customize with the Pro extension included in your purchase. With dedicated 5-star support, you'll deliver standout websites while growing your design business. And I just want to say, I'm hearing more and more designers are grabbing these templates to kick off projects with. And it's such a time saver. And you can really not only give your client kind of like a preview of the look and feel. So if they're one of those clients that are like, I'll know it when I see it, this is probably a great way to kick off your project.
It's really, and it's just so cool what they've done. Just from my background, like the technical aspect of what they've done is really cool. It's almost like a whole new app within Squarespace. You should really check it out. It's sweet stuff.
And we've got some more notes in the chat here. Ashika, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but I love it. Good morning. Thanks for being here. And Jai says, I think it's time to change the podcast name to Extremely Useful. Great to see you too as well. We don't want to oversell, but thanks.
No, we're not going to oversell. And it's, I hope we're providing more than somewhat useful information here, but it's more, I want to keep in people's mind that like listening to other people is going to give you information for your business, but you have to be in charge of your business. Like there's no playbook with any of this entrepreneurial stuff. It's all about you. And that's the somewhat useful. So just sort of, maybe it's my hesitancy, but it just sort of keeps things at arm's length and helps me realize, okay, any information that I take in, like I'm ultimately responsible. So
what we're doing is not prescriptive, right? We are just giving you things to think about and potentially use in your own business. Take what works for you and leave the rest.
But thank you for saying that.
Yes.
That's really nice. Okay, Christy, let's start off with this question. If AI does take your job, what would you do?
If the robots come for me.
For like whether you need money or whether you don't need money. But if AI, your job's gone, what are you going to do?
Okay. If my job as a web designer is gone and I need money, I think that I would try and get a job at a tech company that's maybe using AI, need somebody to help prompt AIs for doing web design. I mean, websites are still going to be around in some form. And we can talk about that later. I've been kind of thinking about that a bit. But I think I would, they're going to have to be people who wrangle the AIs. So maybe I'd be an AI wrangler.
AI wrangler. Very cowboy-esque of you.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that image. Like you with a little lasso.
Yeah.
Get over here, AI. Yeah, it'd be fun. What about if you didn't need money and you were just like, okay, time to retire. I'm good. This is what but I'm still want to do something with my time.
Yeah. I mean, what do I want to do with my time if I don't need money? I'm going to live on an island in the Mediterranean and swim in the sea and play drums in a Green Day cover band.
Love that. Love that life for you. I love this like this drummer arc you've been taking over the last few months.
Well, I mean, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Only 2 of my limbs can do separate things at the same time. Like you try to introduce a third limb and it just all falls apart, but I'm working on it.
Proud of you.
What about you, Will? What would you do if AI takes your job and you need money? What would you do?
I think the first thing is I would work at a tech company. I would like to still doing.
We could be coworkers, Will.
Oh, that would be fun. That would be really fun to be coworkers with some of the Squarespace buds. That'd be a blast. I would like to still do work in sort of the tech sphere like you. I don't think
Mhm.
like code's going away by any means. So I would like to still do that.
Mhm.
And I would hope maybe Squarespace, keep on the good graces of Squarespace. We'll see what happens. But if it wasn't a factor, if I didn't need
Mhm.
money, I would like to be like an Instagram cook influencer. I think I've said this a number of times now,
Ooh,
but
yes.
I love watching those Instagram cooking videos, and I would love to just be like really good at cooking. Have this big kitchen where I can just
Yeah.
make all sorts of chilies and casseroles.
Oh
I
my
don't know.
goodness. I mean, I would be there for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do some meal
Well,
planning for me.
see, that's what I need.
Yeah.
I've been using AI a lot for meal planning. Well, let me ask you this. Are
Mhm.
you concerned that AI is going to take your job?
Not in the next few years.
Mm,
Um, I mean, I've been thinking more about what websites might be like in the future.
mm,
And I mean, if they're more for AI than for people, let's say people just start using AI for everything. Like, tell me the answer to this.
yeah.
We're not going to need pretty websites. We're going to
Mm-mm.
need like a Google Doc of info for the AI crawler, for the
Right.
bots to crawl and serve up. So, I mean, I could see that like at some point in the not near future, but maybe it becomes something different. And
Right.
and maybe we don't need designers like we design today, but you'll still need information architects, you'll still
Mhm.
need people to understand how the bots are crawling and to serve up info in that way, GEO or AIO, whatever we're gonna call
Whatever it
it.
is. Yeah.
Um, so I think that maybe the job I have as it looks today might change,
Yeah.
but we all have transferable skills that we can bring to whatever it becomes. So am I
Totally.
worried? No. Do I think it's gonna look exactly the same 5 years down the road? Also, no.
No. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I agree. I think if I still see a place for websites because we've kind of like taken them into like this business aspect for it,
Mhm.
where it's like, of course, we're building websites, we're making our own businesses, we're
Mhm.
building websites for businesses. But this whole internet thing started with people just kind of messing around on the internet
Mhm.
and making stuff just because it was fun and
Yeah.
you wanted your own little piece of the internet and you wanted to create this identity. And I don't think that's going to be going away. This
Mhm.
desire for whether it's yourself or business owners to have like an identity for humans
Mhm.
on the web. And now it's probably going to be less traffic because a lot of these questions can be answered by AI. So I
Mhm.
don't know how that shapes the ecosystem.
Mhm.
Um, but I do feel like there's going to be a heavy emphasis on how do I connect for business purposes, how do I connect my business to Chat GPT so it can give users answers about my stuff there, or Gemini, or whatever it might be.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that more or less people will need websites in 3 to 5 years?
I'm on the more side, which is a bit
Interesting.
counterintuitive, but I'm on the more side, um, because I think the barrier to entry for creating a website is going to go lower. So
Mhm.
more people are going to want to build websites. I see it as like the whole pie is going to be growing. Like
Yeah.
this pie of websites out on the internet is going to become astronomical. It's going to be really
Yeah.
big because any AI could build one. You're going to have these, like, it's already way easier with a tool like Squarespace. This is what they
Mhm.
were saying about, the killers, the developer designer killers is like Squarespace. They were saying that about like
Yeah.
Squarespace and these no code editors. And all
Still
it
need a
did,
wrangler.
you still need a wrangler. You need someone to be able to wrangle that.
Yeah.
And people aren't necessarily going to want to do that for themselves. So they're going to want
Yeah.
to hire other people. So I kind of think there will be more. What do you think?
Oh, goodness. I like your point that it's just gonna be a low bar to entry, and so, like, my dog could be like, "Make me a website." Um,
Yes, because that
Hello world.
technology is coming. That
Yeah.
technology is coming.
Pretty soon she's gonna be able to speak. We don't want that.
Well, what would be the counter argument though to mine? What would be the opposite, that it might be lower?
Yeah, I think that maybe you don't need a website. Maybe you just need to feed information in another way through talking to Chat GPT. So if you have a Chat
Mm,
GPT account, it's going to remember things about you and serve up that information to other people. So
mm,
maybe that's how you get your information out there. Maybe you don't need a website necessarily. Maybe you just talk to the robots.
yeah. I
I
mean,
don't know.
that is, I think, the counter argument is like everyone's just going to these robots and getting all
Mhm.
their information there. Um, but there, if I might be just like stretching analogies or thinking about things too deeply, but I think there was a time earlier in the internet where you just had static text in a document and
Mhm.
people were like, well, you don't need images or you don't need these like marquees, these scrolling marquees, because people just want the content. And I think there is something about humans that we want this we want to see other humans work. We want to see what other humans create.
Yeah, I think that there might be more of a lean toward creating videos on YouTube where you have
Mhm.
that more kind of personal connection, or
Yeah,
maybe websites will
that's
become
it.
that with, like, more videos and um, more personal interaction almost. Even though it's one to
Yeah.
many, it's
No, I'm with
still
you.
that. Yeah,
I think that's it.
that's what we're gonna miss.
Yeah, is that, like, connecting to something that's not just like a search
Mhm.
result in AI.
Yeah.
Well, for us, our website builders, we build
Mhm.
websites, we make our living building websites for others.
Mhm.
Do we think there will be more or less people who build websites professionally in 3 years?
That I think it's the same answer, right? The bar to entry will be lower because it will
Mhm.
be easier to build websites, but so maybe more people will do it, but also I feel like it's gonna be just as easy to stand out
Yeah,
as it is now. I mean, you kind of figure out where your place is in the world of web designers. We've got a question in the chat from Ecosphere. Should I freelance as a beginner?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's how you
absolutely.
build your skills.
No,
Yeah.
the building your skills is,
Mhm.
it's less hard than building a business.
Mhm.
Um, because building a skills, there are paths. You can just learn things. You can just build stuff on your own. The hard part is finding someone who's going to pay you to do some work. And
Mhm.
I think that like jump into freelance if you have some of the other things. I mean, I don't know your particular circumstance
Mhm.
of any freelancer. But if you have some time, if you have some space, if you have some safety net and you can jump into freelance
Mhm.
and you're a beginner, do not be afraid of that. Yeah, I think you should definitely jump in.
Yeah, and it's so funny when I look back on my first projects, I'm like, "Oof, those were rough." My first Squarespace project was
Yeah.
like it's still live, it's so funny. I did this in, like, 2017, 2018, and it's still live, and I look back and I'm like, "Well, that's Bedford. That's the
Yep.
Bedford
You
template."
can
Like,
see it.
it looks
Mhm.
just like the template. And I think it's important to know, like, we didn't all walk in the door as, like, these designers who can make something look like it's not necessarily Squarespace or make a beautiful, usable website that's clean and minimal. We walked in with nothing but a computer, and it's
Yeah.
like, "We're gonna learn this. We're gonna figure this out." And if you don't start just building and trying it out, you're not gonna get better.
Right.
So if there is a chance for you to freelance as a beginner, Will said it depends on your circumstances, but yeah, start getting better.
Just jump in. Just
Yeah.
jump in. Angela said there's so many bad websites out there. I hope businesses start investing in them instead of using Facebook pages. Yeah, please get off
Yeah.
Facebook pages. Man, those for the love. Like if you're I really think having a website is like this proof of I'm real out in the
Mhm.
world. And honestly, bringing back to our earlier point, I think that's part of the reason why websites aren't going to go away. I think people still crave this ability to claim their stake on the internet and see, this is my domain, this is where my stuff is, even if it's not this big traffic builder and everything, even if maybe all that comes from AI, people are still going to want their sort of piece of the internet.
Yeah, and I think that's an important point that you're making, their piece of the internet. So if it's on Facebook pages or Instagram, those things can go away. I don't know how many people I know that have had their accounts suspended or they lose access for whatever reason.
Yeah, right. That's the other thing.
Your website is a safe space.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's yours. Well, let's shift from the website building industry to our businesses more specifically. Where are you using AI right now in your website building business?
It's so funny. I asked ChatGPT the other day to analyze how I've been using it over time and to look at the types of questions I ask, the way I engage with it, what I prioritize, and patterns, and to break it down like a usage profile. What kind of user am I? And so ChatGPT is very flattering always. Like, I love getting feedback from it. I'm a strategic creator and systems thinker. I'm a high functioning, purpose driven user who treats ChatGPT like a creative and operational partner. But I think it actually nailed that part. It is a creative and operational partner. I'm not asking it to generate new things for me, but I'm treating it like an assistant to bounce ideas off of or help me do research or put things in a cohesive package when I'm just dumping my thoughts in. So I do a lot of back and forth, like iterative refinement of ideas. And I feel like, so ChatGPT is like where I'm spending most of my time with AI tools these days. But it's been really interesting. So that's one way that I use it is just, I mean, you said in my business, but like I use it across web design and business overall. So I'm not necessarily getting it to help me build a website, but I am getting it to help me refine ideas for talks, for digital products. Sometimes I think I showed you, I had a 2-day website build for a client and I was like, we need a professional photo of you for the website. He's a financial advisor. And he sent me this like shot from this video of him in this t-shirt in his office. And it was just like, that's not what we need. But I ran it through ChatGPT with some prompts and it gave me back something that looked like him in a suit. Pleasant.
Pretty good. I know.
So, but I know that a lot of people are using Midjourney. So Diane Whidden is a great resource for using Midjourney to create lots of images for websites and templates. That's something I'm going to be diving more into as well.
I would love Midjourney. Maybe they've done this and I just don't know. I would love them to create a better UI because you have to use Discord, I think, to use Midjourney. Is that still the case?
The prompting is kind of it is wonky.
Yeah, it's a bit wonky.
Yeah.
I don't like using Discord, but Midjourney does do some great images.
Yeah.
So you're just using it just sort of like everywhere, all over, just all encompassing. Yeah, I'm using ChatGPT a lot for the brainstorming thing.
Yes.
And I'm starting to learn to like jump between models too. So I'll start at like O3 Pro for just like some ideating, and then I'll jump back to O4 just to get some quick answers to some things. So I'm starting to like understand the different models and when to use them, which is a weird thing. I never would have guessed that would have mattered.
That's really cool. I don't do that. And that's something that I need to learn because I do know they all kind of have their strengths. So
yeah. And they think longer and they do weird stuff. Yeah. So it's interesting learning the little quirks of each one. But then go ahead. Sorry.
I recently tried out Manus, which is another AI tool. So I'm going to be speaking at a summit later this year, and I had my outline that I created and then put it into ChatGPT to help me kind of refine it. And then I took that and I put it into Manus, and Manus developed slides for the talk for me. They are ugly. I'm going to have to rework them, but it laid everything out in a way that makes visual sense. And that's the first tool that I've seen. I mean, I know ChatGPT can do slides, but Manus can do slides. So I feel
Interesting.
like every day there's a new tool that does something that I want to learn and check out.
It's ridiculous how fast it
Yeah.
is all shifting around and changing.
Yeah. Another
So,
one that I use quite a bit is Write Blogger. I know I've
no
mentioned that
blogger.
one before, to help me iterate on blog posts, make sure my SEO is on point for them before I post it.
Mm,
Um, it's really great with helping you bring YouTube videos to blog posts. Sounds like me, makes it so much faster.
yeah.
So, and then vice versa, take a blog post and turn it into a YouTube script for me. Make it, and it sounds just like
Wow.
me. So that's been a really cool one too. I mean, I could spend all day telling you about all the
The
AI
different
tools that
tools.
I've
That's a
tried and
really good one.
used. Yeah.
Opus is another really good, like, video edit cutting down. You throw it in a video, and it'll give you some good, like, social clips from it. That's another good one.
Yeah.
Cursor is the main one that I'm using for my workflow, which is just like a developer environment that has AI built into it, and you can ask it questions about your entire code base,
Uh-huh.
and it's been incredible, and I basically live in that at this point.
Nice.
That's just where I spend all my time. But yeah, I've been using a lot of AI, but the big question is,
Mhm.
are we actually becoming more productive with it? And is it helping, and tangentially, is it helping us actually, like, learn something? Are we building skills? Do you feel like you're building skills when you use these tools?
Those are really great questions. So, am I more productive? Yes. It saves me so much time.
Mhm,
So, things that, like, if I'm going to be interviewing someone or talking with someone, I used to have to do all this research ahead of time and like
mhm.
figure out things. I can just like dump it all into Chat GPT and it's like, tell me about this person.
Yeah,
Um, Same with anything that I'm learning about. It's like, tell me what I need to know. And
yeah.
also iterating on, the summit presentation, like that would have taken me a lot longer. Did I have to generate the original what am I going to be talking about and the points I want to make? Yes. But it was able to ask me
Yeah.
questions and help me make it better quickly. So, yes, I think definitely more productive in that I'm saving a ton of time.
Mhm,
Is it helping me become more skilled? So I've read a lot lately about how AI is dumbing us down,
mhm.
and I
Yeah.
think it depends on how you're using it.
Right. I do too. I totally agree. Like, if
Mhm,
I've noticed, um, if I am there's a lot of places where I'm just like, code this thing for me," and it just codes it, and I'm like, "Okay, let's just use it. Just throw it out there."
yeah,
But at that point, like, that I haven't really learned something at that for those
mhm,
sort of little bits, and there
mhm.
are pieces like that, if you're not, like, proofing it or checking what it's doing, you're not really learning.
Oh my
But
goodness, it's such a hype man too. It's like, what do you call it?
Right.
Hallucinations, but I
Yeah,
call it
the
hype man. It's
hallucinations.
like, you're
Yeah,
the best. I'm just like,
yeah. Oh,
can we get a real look at this?
well, yeah, look at it again.
Yeah.
But I feel like at the end of the day, I'm taking responsibility for the work that I put out. Like,
Yeah.
and I have critical feedback in from, like, my customers. Like, if I
Mhm,
send out some code and the code breaks and I don't know how to fix it, or I'm just like, well, that's what the AI wrote, like, no one's going to cut me slack for that. And I
mhm,
rightfully should probably lose my business. Like,
mhm.
I still have to be responsible for the output of it. And so because of that, I feel like it's making me slow down and read through it, and it is making me more skilled in some levels, because it is writing code in a way that I'm like, "Oh, I wouldn't have even thought of that." And that's actually really well structured. I like the way,
Yeah.
and I can see what you did. I didn't have to write it myself. Saved me some time. But now that's kind of, I will use that pattern moving forward. So
Yeah.
I wonder if you have a similar thing as you're building websites or building out designs.
You know, I think that the way that I tend to use it, well, I'll share a story about how it does not work for me because I think that's
Hmm,
really interesting. So in February, I launched a course called the Web Designer's Playbook. That is my entire process of working with clients before you even have a client to when you're offboarding your clients and done with the project. So the whole shebang.
Whew.
And I tried to get Claude and ChatGPT to help me create this course because it was going to save me so much time. And I spent a lot of time with these tools trying to do that. And in the end, I threw all that out the window and I ended up just doing it myself
Yeah.
because it never quite felt right coming from an AI tool.
Yeah.
And in that, with that process, I realized that there are definitely some things that I need to do myself. Now, can I use ChatGPT or Claude or another AI tool to help me iterate, to clean up, to check grammar, maybe clarify? Yes. But I realized in that moment that there are still things that I just cannot hand off and expect a good outcome.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the handing off. It's that idea of like fully handing off a task.
Mhm.
That's you're giving them full responsibility to come up with, "Here, be creative for me." It's like those
Mhm.
things don't really work, but like once
No.
you bring it the ideas and
Mhm.
ask it to execute on them, those are the places I've found to be super helpful. Um,
And I really loved what you said about how you're seeing how it solves a problem, and then you can apply that methodology to other things yourself.
mhm,
And that's really interesting too. So, I chat a lot with ChatGPT and I see the
yeah,
questions that it's asking me. And so now I can start to ask those questions myself without, necessarily bringing ChatGPT into the loop. Like I have that information going forward as I'm working on projects. So
yeah,
I think that it's definitely you could make it a crutch or you could make it an assistant. And I
right.
think those are very different uses.
Very different, right.
Mhm.
And if you're using it as a crutch, that's you're gonna struggle in the long term, to be quite
Mhm.
honest, because that's
Mhm.
if you're using it as a crutch, someone else is just gonna build a business who's gonna be able to do that.
Yeah.
I saw someone on Twitter the other day, um, and she was saying this was just a fun little hack if you in case you wanna if you use these tools. She
Yeah.
was asking Claude this question, could not get the answer. Claude just kept just running in circles, and it just wasn't working. Then
Yeah.
she opened a new thread, pasted in the same question, and then said, "Think really hard," and then it got the answer. And these things are just like there's no understanding how these things work.
Yeah.
But it's interesting sort of finding these little quirks that make them work.
Yeah, and I think too, the thing that I always keep coming back to is that these tools are not thinking, they're
No.
mathing. They're
Right.
like, what's the most probable outcome? I'm going to give that to you with a little bit of, I'm going to live within this
Right.
probable outcome. I
Yeah.
might lean this way or this way, but it's going to be in this
Yeah.
bucket. So it's not thinking. It's just
Yeah.
doing a lot of math for you.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we do. Someone, Ecosphere just commented, we trust AI too much.
Yeah.
And yeah, we really do. It's amazing how quickly we lean into this. This conversation 3 years ago would have been unfathomable.
Yeah.
And now we're just like, we're mad we have to tell it to think hard
Mhm.
enough to answer these problems. It is unbelievable how quickly we rely on them
Mhm.
and then ultimately trust them. And there's a lot of implications for that for
Yeah.
humanity and the world. But this is a somewhat useful podcast about websites. Can't go that far. Can't widen it that much. So are you doing anything in particular to stay adaptable to these changes? We've talked about how quickly all this stuff is changing. What are you
Yeah.
how do you keep up with everything?
You can't. You can't.
Yeah.
It's like trying to play chess when the board changes. It's like, "Oh, that's no longer a
Yep.
chessboard.
Yeah.
Today we're playing pinochle instead."
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
like you can't have any I don't have any strategy to stay, up to date or adaptable because things are changing so quickly.
Right.
The landscape is shifting so fast that we were talking about this before, and you had a
I
really good point.
somewhat well, and any good points that I have came from someone else, so this is not mine. But someone was saying, the best time to like take the time to learn AI and to learn all these things is tomorrow. It's
Mhm.
tomorrow right now because this stuff is shifting so fast. Anything you take the time to learn today might be outdated tomorrow, metaphorically, of course.
Mhm.
Because it is like the half-life of learning about AI is weeks to months. I mean, these
Yeah.
things are shifting and growing and improving so fast. I feel myself in this mode of just like what is the job I'm trying to accomplish and just trying to get
Mhm.
it done whatever way possible, looking at the other tools. You were mentioning there was some other tool earlier in this podcast that you were like, I need to go check that out and see how
Yeah.
it cuts up my content and does stuff. I mean, it's an endless amount of things, and putting together a strategy. I like your board game strategy. Putting it, it's almost like we're playing now like backgammon, but
Yeah.
we're putting together a strategy for chess. It's like it's
Yeah.
not going to work. There's the
And
whole
tomorrow it's
game.
Battleship.
And
Yeah.
tomorrow it's Battlefield. Right, right. And tomorrow it's going to be a totally different game.
Yeah.
Like it's shifting so fast.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
almost better not to be strategic about things and to just act and move.
Yeah, and I think, we've seen things change. I mean, we've all been on this planet for a while. And I'll date myself by saying when I was in college, there were no websites. So the job that I have today did not exist in any form when I was in
Yeah.
college. And so I feel like we're seeing those changes that, took longer. They're now coming much faster.
Yeah.
So, if you're graduating college today, the job that you're going to have in a year may not exist today.
Yeah.
That's how fast things are changing. And
Mhm.
I think that what we all need to just keep learning we need to keep learning critical thinking skills because those are going to carry us through.
Mhm.
We need to learn discernment. When do we trust what the bots are telling us? So
Right.
those things are going to carry you through no matter what.
Those are good. Those are really good. I really like that. And just sort of like here's another thing I would recommend to anyone kind of starting out is to find the little niche communities that you want to be in, because there's nothing like talking with humans. Like we trust AI
Yes.
too much. Absolutely. We really do. And we got to find those outlets for finding someone else, whether it's in person or an online community, but just to be like, am I losing my mind? This feels crazy. Or why are they doing
Yeah.
this? Like finding those
Yeah.
little, and I think that is going to be another thing that's going to be growing a lot
Yes.
is niche communities. I feel like
Yes.
humans are going to want to be interacting with other humans more.
Agreed.
Um, and I think that world is just going to blow up. Okay. So Christy,
Mhm.
if we talked earlier about like what you would do if you didn't have a job in 3 years,
Mhm.
but if AI by the end of this year
Uh-huh.
started to like you started to see your work diminish because of
Mhm.
AI, and you still wanted to give your business a fighting chance, of course, and try to adapt, like what would you do? What would you do if people started using AI to build websites instead of going to you?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, even if they use AI to build a website, right, it's just mathing for them. So it's not really thinking. I think that those critical skills of, information architecture and what's the goal of the website, AI is
Mhm.
not going to know really. You're going to answer some questions. It's going to go poof, here's your website. So I think that having an expert in web design to
Mhm.
review an AI site and make suggestions to make it more
Mm.
usable for SEO, things that the AI didn't know to ask or you didn't think about as you were building the site. There's still going to be room for a human expert in there to make things better because we've
Mhm.
all seen the output that we get from AI. Like I was talking about the Manus slides. I'm like, they are hideously ugly.
Yeah.
They have great content, but I'm going to have to go and make them look nice in Canva or Adobe Express. And that's something that I'm going to have to do. And so I
Mhm.
think there's always room for a human.
Yeah.
And that's what I would do. I would just offer consulting services to people who are using AI to build their websites because it's not going
Agreed.
to be polished. It's not going to be perfect. Lots of room, I think, there. What about you?
Well,
What
a
if?
few stories on that.
Mhm, mhm.
One, Kelsey, who was on our podcast last week,
Yeah.
her husband, Zach, is actually doing that. He's a
Mhm.
developer and he's
Yes.
created this new service, which I think is brilliant, that
Yes.
will audit your vibe coded apps. So if you
Yes.
vibe coded something and you're like, ooh, this is working, but I don't really know what I've done, and I would like someone who knows what's going on to take a look at it. Zach does that. He will
Yeah.
take a look at all the code. I think
So
that's
smart.
really brilliant. And tangentially to that, did you hear about the T app fiasco? that happened,
No.
I think, earlier this
Spill
week.
the tea, Will.
Spill the tea. Well, that's what it was kind of about. It's about like spilling the tea. The app is about like, I don't know fully, so I'm going to butcher this a little bit, but it's like sharing rumors and secrets about specific
Oh,
people.
I've never heard
Um,
of this. Okay.
but the whole app apparently was like vibe coded. So the database was stored on like a public server, and like anyone could just go to the database and look at what anyone had ever said and all of sort of their IDs that they had uploaded for verification and everything. So it was just like a total disaster.
Ouch.
So
Ouch.
all that brings me to the point of there are unknown unknowns in this. I
Yeah.
think there was Dick Cheney who said that. Terrible reference about like Iraq and everything, and a lot of screw ups there. But he was talking about the unknown unknown, so things you
Mhm.
don't know that you don't know.
Yeah.
And AI is only going to be able to ask you the questions that you know to ask it. It's not
Mhm.
going to answer a question you didn't ask. And so that I feel like there's a big space
Yes.
for people to get frustrated because something's not working exactly quite right on their website. And they don't even have the words to explain it.
Right.
And that's why
Yeah.
they're going to need
That
people like you.
is that is such a good point because there are so many times that, somebody will reach out to me about a Squarespace question and they're like, "I don't know how to do this." And it's because they don't know what terms to Google. They don't know
Right,
auto layout section.
right.
It's really fascinating. That is an excellent point. You have
Yeah,
to know the lexicon.
you gotta know the lexicon. I
Yeah.
know, and it's hard. You can't. It's hard to explain it to an AI if it's just you in a room. And
Yeah.
another reason to be in a community because maybe you can
Yes.
just ask a community about it. But
So
I'm similar though. Like
mhm.
if my plugin business went away tomorrow, I I think people will still want some version of whatever plugins are offering today. Like plugins are offering today, there's something Squarespace can't do. And so I've built a plugin for that. Tomorrow, if my plugin business goes away and everyone starts coding, and
Mhm.
everyone can build their own plugins, there will be something else Squarespace can't do that I
Yeah.
can build. And if it's not Squarespace, there will be something a designer once done, and maybe I
Yeah.
can build that app. So as long as I feel like, again, as long as I'm not making long-term strategies, as long as I'm just sort of going with the flow right now, making sure I'm keeping up to date with tools as I can and keeping my business running, um, that's kind of my plan. I think there will always be space for someone who wants to help out someone, and that's ultimately where I feel like my business is. I want to help out designers build things
Mhm.
they can't build within Squarespace using code. I think there's always going to be something in that space.
Absolutely, and I think Risha in the chat nailed it. It's a great time to be an expert.
It's a great time to be an expert.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And it's also a really interesting time. I'm trying to think back if I was just starting my website journey right now, and you
Mhm,
could build anything on like any app. Um,
mhm.
it's also that's what's interesting. It is an excellent time to be an expert. Experts, I think, are
Yeah,
going to do super, super well. And I think there's an argument to be made for it's a great time to be like a motivated beginner because
yeah,
everything is new as well. As long as you have that
yeah,
motivation, like everything is new and no one is an expert on a lot of this stuff. We're experts on
yeah,
like crafting websites and how to get that user journey out, but no one's an expert on like the technical side of these things, which
right.
is interesting. So I don't know. It's just it's a fascinating place to be.
It is, but I have another question for you about, we talked about what would we do if AI takes our job. So there are
Mhm.
moments of like, wow, this everything's changing so fast. Do you get scared sometimes? And if you start to feel some fear around it, what do you do to get out of it?
Um, yeah, that's a good question. I do have these like, and it's not really like a long-term fear. It's more of like a spike in fear. I'll just like
Yeah.
feel this momentarily. I'll be like,
Mhm.
it'll typically be when I'm trying to solve some really hard problem and AI just answers it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, that was if I got there with AI, if AI did what used to take me hours, maybe even days, and it
Yeah.
just spits out the answer. Those are the moments where I get those little spikes of fear.
Mhm.
But what I try, and this is not intentional. I haven't thought super deeply about this, but I
Mhm.
think what always gets me over that is what we've said before. Like, I knew the questions to ask to get there. And
Yeah.
as long as now I'm internalizing that, there will always be another hard problem to solve.
Mhm.
That we aren't going to run out of problems to solve here. So
Yeah.
as long as I can kind of see myself as a problem solver in this space, and that my goal isn't necessarily to build code, it's to listen to a client, hear what their problem is, and find a way to solve it.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
way I started with website building. It wasn't that other people couldn't use Squarespace, it's that they didn't have the time or the patience to use Squarespace. I didn't know
Yeah.
how to code when I started.
Yeah.
I was willing to jump into Squarespace and figure it out and like make something happen. I was just
We
solving
didn't
my
show
problem.
up one day with all this knowledge.
No, no, not at all. So I just try to think about that. It's just like solve the next problem, solve the next
Yeah.
problem.
I love
What
that.
about you? Do you get sort of these spikes in fear?
Of course, because change is scary.
Yeah.
Change is scary. And I think for me, the thing that I keep coming back to is that I think about that moment that I saw the Elon Musk robots walk out on stage. Do you remember that? And I'm like, oh my gosh, those things are terrifying.
Yeah,
They're
it was
so scary.
very
I
creepy.
do not
Yeah.
want those. So I think what I come back to is that people want to work with people. Like, will
Mhm.
they use bots, robots to help them get something faster? Sure. But I think that as we do more and more of that, there's going to be this need for human connection. And I'm a
Mhm.
people. So,
Yeah,
I'm just like,
you're a people.
I'm a people. So
That's good.
I think we can all come back to that maybe and
I think
feel a
we
little
should get some
better.
stickers made. I'm a people.
I'm a
Well,
people.
I'm a people.
I
Yeah. No,
love
I'm
it.
with you.
That's
I'm
swag for
totally with
Circle
you.
Day. Come see us for the I'm a
Yeah.
people sticker.
For the I'm a people stickers. I really like that. Yeah, I think the robots too, those can induce a little bit of fear, seeing the robots sort of move around.
Terrifying.
Like Boston Dynamics robots and the dogs that do like the backflips and all sorts of stuff.
Okay, I was at South by Southwest and I saw one of
Mhm.
those dog robots, and it was like a little friendly dog, and it was coming up, and I was like down on the floor, like trying to get it to come to
Yeah.
me, and then it
Great.
raised up and it became this terrifying robot creature. It was not a dog anymore. And
No,
I'm like,
no.
do not like this. Do not like
Get
this.
out of here.
Yeah.
Away from me, Satan. I know.
I think all robots should be roundy like Baymax.
Yeah,
That's
they
like
should have
but smaller,
100%.
shorter
Yeah,
than me and roundy, so they're not threatening. Like, there needs
100%.
to be legislation around this. I wonder if we could do that.
Make robots dog-like. I love
Yes,
this.
not
I love this
non-threatening robots
legislation.
only.
Yeah, I like this. Okay, so we're gonna go on a quick break, read our sponsor read. But if you have any questions for us about AI or just comments, drop them down
Yeah.
in the chats. Would love to hear your thoughts on things. And then when we come back, we'll do our free questions, but for the
Lightning
robot
round for each other.
lightning round. Okay, so thank you, Square Kicker, for sponsoring. What if you could have unlimited creativity on Squarespace? The Square Kicker Pro extension gives you powerful design control with an intuitive visual UI right inside your Squarespace editor. Created by designers for designers, over 100 no-code tools empower you to customize Squarespace far beyond its native capabilities. Visit squarekicker.com for a free trial, no credit card required. Use coupon code SOMEWHAT15 to get 15% off all Square Kicker products today. Supercharge your creativity with dramatic scroll effects, custom hover states, unique section layouts, and so much more. With dedicated 5-star support from Shannon, hey Shannon, you'll never face a design challenge alone. The Square Kicker team can't wait to see what you create. Love us some Square Kicker.
We do. It is the coolest tool to add things to your Squarespace website to make it not look like Squarespace.
It's really good. They've done just an excellent job. All right, let's jump into our 3 questions for each of us. So
Yes.
typically we ask these of our guests, but we'll just go with the 2 of us. Do
Yeah.
you have any pants? Do you have any pets Are you? Yeah, these are
I
questions
do.
you should not be
I own
asking
more than one
on
pair
the
of pants.
podcast.
Yes.
Okay, good. Just making sure. Do you have any pets, and do they come to work with you?
Yeah, I do, and I've talked a lot about my dogs. So I've got 2 dogs. One is Percy, who is recovering from her second TPLO surgery. So if you have purchased something from me this year, thank you for funding my dog's surgery bill. It was significant. But she's
Sweet.
doing great, recovering well. And
Good.
my other dog is a 3-year-old chocolate lab named Bela, who, I thought that all labs were kind of created equal, black labs, chocolate labs, yellow labs. And then I got my first chocolate lab. I'd always had black labs. And I'm like, what is this creature that is now mine? And I took her to the vet, and the vet's like, oh, you got a chocolate. They're the crazy ones. And I'm like,
Wait,
wish I'd
really?
known that ahead of time. She's a nut, but she is the most joyful dog I've
Mm.
ever met in my life. She is always happy. When she
Mm.
swims, she wags. When she's playing with
Oh.
you, she wags. When she jumps on me in the morning to become a 75-pound weighted blanket to wake me up,
Mhm.
she's
Mhm.
wagging. She's always happy.
So
So,
this is what,
yeah.
the robots should be sort of mimicked after is Percy,
Yeah.
the
Put fur
chocolate
on
lab.
them.
I love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Those sweet little animals.
What about you, Will? Any pets, and do they
I
come to work with
do.
you?
She's sleeping next to me, a sweet little,
Ah,
15-year-old Maltese. She doesn't have any teeth anymore, so her tongue kind of
it's the
just hangs
cutest.
out hangs out on the side, this her sweet little blep. And yeah, I work from home, Ren goes into the office, so it's just me and Vivi most days. Sweet little
I
thing.
love that. Also, we have
Uh,
a really sweet comment from Dana. Loving the conversation. I'm listening as I drive from Pensacola to Jacksonville. Awesome.
oh,
Love
good. Hope you're
Florida.
able to, like, listen to this as you drive, that's great.
Yeah,
Hope you're
very
not
cool.
watching. Unless someone else is driving and you're just in the car, that's great.
And maybe it's a Waymo and it's driving for you.
Yeah, maybe it's a Waymo. Right, there we go. Maybe we've gotten all those, the robot cars. What are the top 3 tools in your tech stack?
Yeah, well, Squarespace, obviously. I would not have a business
Sure.
at the moment if it were not for Squarespace. So that is my top tool in my tech stack. My other top tool is Podia. So I love
Mm,
Squarespace, but I actually, for hosting my courses in digital products and email marketing, I choose Podia. So that's my number 2 tool in my tech stack. And third, we're talking about AI today. I've got to say
Chatty
ChatGPT.
G. There
Yeah.
we go, that's the one, not Claude. You don't use Claude as much?
So, I think it was the month that I decided to sign up for an annual plan of Claude because I was
Mhm,
loving Claude. She was amazing.
mhm.
And then I think it was you who were like, you should try out ChatGPT. It's like coming a long way. And then
Getting
I
better.
moved to ChatGPT and I'm like, oh, now that I
Yeah,
have paid for Claude, I am now
I know,
paying for ChatGPT also.
I know.
So I am, yeah, yeah.
Those very similar to mine. Squarespace, of
Okay.
course, is number 1. I mean, I'm on Squarespace almost, I mean, of course, every day, most of the day as well. 2 is Cursor. It's where I do all
Yeah.
my code editing. I've talked about it a lot. It's like this,
Mhm.
it's a pretty intense little code editor, but really like it, really like the layout of it. Super helpful. A lot of conversations going on in there. And then ChatGPT, but the app, the phone app. I use it
Well, I
way
love
more on
that.
my phone. Oh, I
Yeah,
use it way more on my phone.
yeah.
And I've been using it for coming up with weekly recipes as well. So I'll ask it and be like, okay, I need you to create here are 3 ingredients that I have. Come up with
Uh-huh.
like a healthy recipe that I want, or like a tasty recipe, whatever it is, cheesy recipe. Cheesy is often an adjective I use.
Cheesy. I love
And
that.
then tell me, create a grocery list for me and create a recipe or a directions for me. So you
Love
can
it.
ask it whatever, and it just sort of creates these custom bespoke meals for you. And I've been using that like nonstop for cooking. Really have
So,
enjoyed the app.
well, I know that you and Ren are signed up for some wine classes. We've been talking about this. Dave and
Yes.
I are taking WSET level 2 right now.
Ooh.
So very interested in learning about wine. What we've been doing is we'll go to a restaurant take a photo of the wine menu, send it into ChatGPT. It's like, based on what I'm going to eat and my preferences now, what
Huh.
wine should I choose tonight? So really fun.
Oh, brilliant. So tell it what you're going to eat, send it a
Yeah.
snapshot of the wine list and be like, what
Yeah.
would pair well?
And
Oh,
and
oh,
and it knows my preferences. Like, I want black fruits and herbaceous notes, and yeah,
I love that.
it's
That's
fun. It's
brilliant.
fun.
Yeah, the taking pictures of things, that's the other great thing about the app is, like, taking pictures of
Yeah.
things and then asking it questions. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
Okay,
All
I'm
right,
gonna I'm gonna
number
throw
3.
a curveball here.
Oh, okay.
Instead of our normal lightning round question, we've
Mhm.
got a question in the chat that I think we should do instead.
I like this one. Okay, ask it. Yeah.
Will, what would you do differently if you had to start again today?
Um, Start again, like, from the beginning.
Yeah.
Maybe let's see, depending on where back. So maybe we'll go back
Mhm.
to, like after when I joined the workforce, maybe
Yeah.
when I joined the workforce. Um, I think at the beginning, I don't think it's realistic to to find the thing you love right out the gate. And I
Mhm.
think college is a good thing. Well, let me start from the top. I love what I do, and I feel
Mhm.
really blessed to love what I do and like
Mhm.
be able to do something I love and make money for it. And then be
Yeah.
able to sort of build a little business and a life around all of those things. Those are not a given in life. And
Yes.
I feel really lucky I've been able to sort of find that match. And I did not go to school for coding. I didn't play around with coding in college or any of that. I kind of fell into it in like my late 20s
Mhm.
from just randomly building websites. Um, and I think that's if I was to start again, I would want to get there as quickly as I can. I would want to realize it is possible to find something you love doing. If those are the choices you've made in life, maybe you just want a 9 to 5, and that's totally fine. And you just want a stable salary because I want to invest my time and energy somewhere else, and that's totally fine too. But I would have liked to have find this place where I love what I do sooner. So I would have tried out more things early. And I think the other thing is that I'm really feeling like I'm getting the benefits now is just starting my business sooner, like
Mhm.
being saying, okay, I'm going to build websites for someone. It's hard to jump out the gate being a freelancer, hitting a home run. And 99% of the people won't. And I think it's good for your own understanding of the world to assume that I'm not going to go out the gate hitting a home run. And this is going to be kind of a long play. And once you've
Yeah.
been in it for a while and made some connections, all of these things will compound and you will have sort of this good business if you keep pushing at it. But I think that's the other thing. I wish I had started sooner on just like jumping into the freelance world and building websites and stuff. But what about you? What are your thoughts?
I love that answer. There's so much to unpack there, but I know we're out of time. So,
Yeah.
um,
What would you do
I
differently if you had to start again today?
yeah, so I think that I made a mistake early on that I see a lot of people new to this entrepreneurial life make. And that was that I tried to wear all the hats. So when I
Mm.
was starting out, I did SQL coding. Did you know that about me? No?
No,
Yeah.
look at you.
I
Getting
did
into
SQL
people.
database stuff. I wrote in Cold Fusion and PHP and did a bunch of coding that I didn't necessarily love. You don't see
Mhm.
me doing that anymore. But I was like, oh, people will hire me for that. I'm going to do that. I built websites. I did graphic design, which I also do not necessarily love. So, and
Mhm.
I worked on different platforms. And it was like I was trying to be this jack of all trades, master of none.
Mhm.
And what I wish I had done that I didn't do until 2018, and I'm talking like back in like 2000, I was doing all these things. It took me a long time to get to the point where I'm like, I'm going to pick one thing and get
Yeah.
really good at this one thing. I'm going to
Yeah.
know it inside out. I'm going to really up my skill level in this one thing. And I picked Squarespace. Now,
Hmm.
do I know everything about Squarespace? No, because it changes all the time. But I do feel comfortable calling myself a Squarespace expert because I've put
Yeah.
so much time and energy into learning this thing. And
Mhm.
all of my offers are around working as a web designer or building websites in Squarespace. And that choosing to pick and stick and really going deep and becoming an expert is something that I wish I had done earlier, because I think I
Mm.
would have been more successful earlier
Yeah.
and less stressed.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think we're honestly saying similar
Yeah.
things. I think it's so
Yeah.
easy when you start your business
Mhm.
to it is very difficult to get work when you're just starting.
Yeah.
If you're not necessarily like a salesperson and that's not the
Mhm.
part of the business you enjoy, it's hard to get work. It's hard to get people to pay you. And it's
Yes.
easy to build in this habit of like, oh, they'll pay me. I'll say yes to
I'll
it.
do anything.
I'll do anything. I'll
I'll
figure it out.
learn this new platform. Yeah.
Figure it out. And
Yeah.
at some point, like you did, it's important to be like, well, this is the thing I really enjoy and what I
Mhm.
want to be doing more of. I want to be an expert in
Mhm.
is the Squarespace. And I love that. I think we're kind of saying similar
Yeah.
things. Is like
Yeah.
so you do I don't want people to skip that first step. You do kind of have to say yes to everything. One, to bring in the money. You have to bring in money. That's kind of
Mhm.
the
But
foundation.
but to your point, to figure out what you like.
Exactly, but that's the
Yeah.
other part, to figure out what
Yeah.
you like, play around with everything,
Mhm.
have some pressure that you have to deliver, you have to like, you are getting paid, and so I have to,
Mhm.
like, figure out this SQL thing, and
Mhm.
then you figure out that I hate this SQL thing, and we're gonna do it
Such a
again.
nightmare.
That's
Never
fine.
wanna see a SQL database
Yeah,
ever
that's
again.
totally fine. I live in them now, and I love it. They're just, like, these advanced Excel spreadsheets.
Oh,
I
my
love 'em.
word. Yeah.
That was a great question, Ecosphere. I
Yeah,
really
thank
like
you.
that one.
And thank you so much to everyone who joined us today live. We
Yeah,
love seeing you in the chat. It feels really great to have this conversation with you. So thanks for joining us. And
thank
that's it. Yeah.
yeah, thank you all. That's it for our
Yeah.
season, right?
Yeah, this is our last episode of the season. We're gonna take a little break. We'll be back after Circle Day. In the meantime, if there are any episodes you missed, you can catch those wherever you get your podcast episodes to get the polished recording. Or if you want to see more of this train wreck, go ahead and look on our YouTube channels. We each
Yeah.
have each of these on our YouTube channels. We hope you found this at least somewhat
Somewhat
useful.
useful. All right, be sure to subscribe if you really like us, and leave us a nice little 5-star review if you would like. This helps us grow the pod. Thanks again to our sponsor, Square Kicker, and thanks to our audio engineer, Ricky Gutton. We'll see you after Circle Day.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.